Hi, I have 3% battery left, and this is future Ben saying that, you know what, I'm gonna bike to work today, and it's the first snow, but it's gonna be difficult because I don't have studded tires on just yet.
Good morning, I am Ben, and today we're gonna be doing a commute in the first snowfall of the season. This is what it looks like. Doesn't look too bad. The first thing you want to know is how slippery is the ground. The answer is, because this is the first snowfall, it is ridiculously slippery. Normally, I would have already put on my studded tires, but today I'll show you how to deal with slippery conditions without studded tires. The secret is you have to deflate your tires. I'll put my battery on to the rubbish bike. Oh, right, don't ride a nice bike during the winter. My tires usually fill up to about 65 PSI. What I want is for them to not be at 65 PSI. You can see here, I'm gonna just squeeze them in. They have a nice, good squeeze. I just filled them up yesterday for a commute downtown. I always actually use this other side of the nub, the protector. Ooh, cold air. Okay. Woohoo! Yeah, that's very low. So you probably want it on the low end. So usually tires that are like mountain bike tires, they go from about 40 PSI to 60 PSI. This is about that. By doing that, you get a lot more surface area on the road. You're still gonna have to be careful, like very, but at least you're not gonna die. Actually, you still have potential to just break and slide everywhere. The most important thing is to do the front wheel, especially at the beginning of the season. I just put studded tires on the front wheel because I don't need them on the back. Because if you spin out on the back, yeah, you can recover. But if you have your front wheel lose traction during the winter, you faceplant. There's no recovering from that. So it's the front wheel that really matters during the winter. So I'm just putting on my balaclava right now. It's the number one most important thing aside from your gloves. When the seasons are transitioning, I actually carry a few different things in my bags. So these are my heavy duty gloves that I'll start with. But yesterday I actually switched. By the time I got downtown, I was super hot because it was pretty hot, but I was biking. So I switched to these, and same with extra layers, just in case. This has been in here for a few days now and I haven't used it. And same with the hat here. If I break down, I just want to be prepared. Kind of like when you're in the car, but I'm not in a car and don't have CAA. You just want to be prepared for anything that can happen. So this is the weather today. It is currently -2. It feels like -6. The good news is that there wasn't any rain. Okay. Here goes. So I can just see my front tire here. It is smushed, and that is fine. The only thing is you don't want to get any snake bites. Oh yeah, communicating with drivers and getting heads up, it's kind of nice for them. Oh yeah, I have my glasses right here. These save you. I can barely see right now because the snow gets in your eyes. So I just put them on. I got them for $1 on eBay. I think that was literally after shipping. Just gonna do up my front a bit. Okay, good. Okay, so these corners, these are where you have to worry about in the winter, because that is where you can slip out and really hurt yourself. Whew. Now I have a problem. Because I'm all fogged up. So yeah, it's the corners that you really, really need to watch out for, because they can really hurt you and you can slip out. So right here, that could all be ice. So I'm not even gonna bother turning. I'm just gonna go slow. Again, another corner. So far they're pretty good, but yeah.
I think I missed my light. So what I was saying earlier about the snake bite pattern, you want to avoid snake bites on your wheel. So what happens is when you have low tire pressure, if you hit a big bump, your wheel can straight up, just like the rim of your wheel can hit the cement, and then it punctures the tube. And then you have two holes in your tube when you get that sort of puncture. And that can happen really easily when you don't have a lot of tire pressure. So you get more grip, but you have to be very wary of bumps and stuff. Now, one thing with my commute is it's on a pretty main road and there are no bike lanes. So I use it to my advantage. It's pretty shitty, actually, to have to bike on the road without a bike lane. I think a lot more people would bike if there were bike lanes, but there aren't. So anyway, I bike in the middle of the lane. And that also means that the cars have already been here. So it's actually a good thing because I can drive on the tire tracks. So this is where the passenger would be in the car, or where the right set of wheels on a car would be, and I'm biking here because it's better than biking over off on the side. Just a little bit. It's actually not that much of a difference, but over on the side here, right here, this is where you get all the crud. So all the stuff like the debris and the screws and the nails and all the stuff that just somehow ends up on the road. Don't ask me how, but it ends up on the side of the road. So anyway, I try to bike here as much as possible, not only to avoid getting a flat, but to avoid not being seen. So I guess it's not really avoiding, but to be seen, I try to be obnoxious as possible. So I try to be very visible, not only about the lights. What is this person doing? What the oh crap. Okay, so one of my biggest problems with biking in the winter is not being able to see after I stop. Shit. So right now I have very foggy goggles. Kind of sucks. Hard to see. When I stop, I usually take my it's that guy. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So the problem is when I stop, there's no wind coming into my face. So I usually try to breathe out with my mouth and have it go through my balaclava as much as I can. Otherwise, if I'm stopped, what happens is the air goes up and into my goggles or the glasses or whatever I put on, and they just fog up to all hell. And that's not good because I can't see anything afterwards. And it's even worse if I take them off and I have to find somewhere to put them. It's basically distracted riding. And it's not the greatest thing to do. And you don't have two hands on the handlebars and just, yeah, all of that craziness. Let me just clean up that lens, kind of snowy. Oh. That's funny. So I looked in that guy's window. He was straight up texting. That's why he didn't go on the green. All right. Now, I didn't mention this before, but I hope it's kind of obvious. When you decrease your tire pressure, you're gonna be working a lot harder. And so, because you have more rolling resistance, which is the whole point of it in the first place, because you don't want to be slipping everywhere on corners, and even like this, it just offers you a bit more, at least, hope that you're not going to freaking slip out and die falling under a car. But this is where layers come in. You don't want to be changing the layers throughout your trip, but you might have to. But anyway, with an e-bike thing, hub motor thing that I have, you're able to kind of regulate, ooh, that's slippery. You're able to regulate how much you are pedaling and heating up. So during the winter, one of my biggest problems is kind of funny because people would think I'm crazy for what I'm about to say. I'm about to say that I worry about overdressing a lot, because if you overdress, you end up showing up sweating. It's just like you're biking in the summer. There's always parts that are going to be cold, so primarily just around your goggles, because of the wind constantly coming after you. After you? What? No, I mean, the wind is constantly tearing you a new one. Your eyes are fine, but everything around that kind of gets a little bit cold. Other than that, though, I usually show up to work really nice and toasty, probably warmer than anyone driving in cars or taking transit or literally doing anything else, because, oh, here's a turn. I don't want to slip here. But either way, yeah, like I've been pedaling all the way to work, so, whew, yeah, no, it's a good morning workout and afternoon workout. I kind of like the mornings the most, just because, at least for the warm-up side of things, just because it's a good start to your day. Because I've set up my bike so that I have the electric assist, it allows me to bike every single day. And if I mess up a little bit, it doesn't matter that much because I can compensate with the motor. So I don't have to pedal as much, and it's, well, I can balance it out. I have a whole blog post that I wrote like months ago for my 6,000 kilometers update, I think. I don't know, something like that. And basically went on to say how I actually use my bike, not as a motorcycle. Okay, so when you get to these types of situations, just keep an eye on tail lights and rearview mirrors. Not that you can really see who's getting out of the car, but you just don't want to get doored. I just got doored recently, but from the passenger side. It was an Uber pulling over in the middle of traffic, and the guy just jumped out of the car. And I was going pretty slow because I didn't know what the hell he was doing. But yeah, it hurts. Not as much as it could if I was going this fast and someone opened up the door. That would suck. Oh my god, those, yeah. But either way, it bent my front wheel a little bit. I got home, no problem. And I didn't report it though. Maybe I should have reported it. I know my friend from London said that I should report it. Whoops. Oh, whoops. Ah! I was trying to wipe the snow off. Okay, so this is my other favorite part of the whole trip, but I haven't gone down and slid down like this before. So far there's no ice. This is kind of sketchy. This is the biggest hill that I actually have encountered pretty much anywhere, because, well, not because, it just is. But either way, it's really nice. Usually I actually take my hands off and I put my hands on my head. Again, being the most obnoxiously visible cyclist is key. But yeah, right now I just want to make sure I don't frickin' die and eat shit. And right around now, because there's fewer bumps, I switch over. There's a bus behind me right now. Buses are really good at not running you over. It's almost like they're professional drivers. My thought is that everyone who ever watches me do that turn, who's in a car, probably thinks I'm absolutely nuts. Because this is Yonge Street in Toronto, and this is a very busy street. And yeah, fun stuff. People don't want bike lanes on here, so bikers just have to be on the road and annoy drivers. Something to keep in mind is when you go down ramps like this, go down straight, because you can slip and it would suck.